A few months ago, I found this really awesome leg vise advertised for sale over on Instagram, and I thought this looked like it was going to be the end-all be-all of blacksmith vices. It's big, it's heavy, it's got nice wide jaws, and it looked like it was in pretty good shape. So I bit the bullet and I bought this vise. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was something like $750 plus shipping, so somewhere in the vicinity of $900 to get this vise here so I could set it up. And I was really excited to have this cool old vise. It is rock solid in place. It doesn't budge a bit on the post. Unfortunately, as a vise, this is the crappiest vise I have ever used in my life. It takes way more effort to tighten it, and as tight as I can get it with all my weight on the handle, it doesn't hold things very well. I was trying to do a twist the other day in a 3/8 bar, and I only needed a half a turn in that bar. And it kept slipping out of this. When we were working on the gate doing those twists, it slipped all the time. It was constant frustration. I have really been unhappy that I spent my money on this vise. Now, I don't blame the seller of this vise. It's somebody that goes to Europe, buys up a bunch of old blacksmithing tools, brings them to the US. It would be really unrealistic for me to expect him to set up every single tool in his shop and give it a fair trial for 2, 3, 4 months to know how the tool really works. There's always a risk when you buy something like that. I took my chances, and this time the gamble didn't pay off. I don't know if I'm going to sell this vise, give it away, what I'm going to do with it, but I am fed up with trying to make it work as a tool in my shop. One of the reasons I bought that great big monster vise is because I thought the Kanka vise that I was using over here was a little bit on the lightweight side. It just seemed kind of small for a forging vise. But I have to tell you, it held way better than the green vise did. And as a functional tool, it was probably 10 times better. So that's the vise that's going back in here. I'm going to get this set back up and I'm going to use it. Maybe I'll find a really good vise that's bigger and heavier that I just like better. In the meantime, this is a really good vise. The sales price on this vise is less than what I paid for that monster vise that turns out to just not be a functional vise in my shop. This was a good functional vise. I used this for something like a year and never really regretted having it in here other than the fact that it was a little bit on the light duty side. And I did like being able to set this up over on the platen table because it was light enough to take down and put under the table and bring back out when I needed it. So it was really handy there. And I might still swap this out. Now, Blacksmith Supply did provide this vise when we initially set it up in the shop. And I'll link to that video up here if you haven't seen that video. But like I say, that was a while back. Conventional wisdom for a vise in the blacksmith shop is that a leg vise is ideal because any abuse you're applying to the vise here is carried down through the vise, through the leg, and into the floor. The screw is not captive in the jaw, so if you're moving the jaw, you're not abusing the screw or any kind of ways or guides or anything like that that you might find in a conventional machinist vise. Having said that though, I've been going over and using my Wilton vise lately because the other vise just wasn't all that good. And so far, that has been a better solution than that vise was. And I wonder if a big machinist vise isn't a perfectly acceptable option. I have been in other shops where that's all they had. Some of them were these massive 300-400 pound vices, 8-inch jaws, huge things, and they seemed to put up just fine with the abuse that was being given to them. And if you've ever followed Fireball Tools, Jason over there has designed a vise to take some abuse, his hardtail vise, and he did some destructive testing, and he actually destroyed a Wilton vise just like the one I have. Of course, he was using a 75-pound hammer to do it, and that kind of abuse you're never going to put into a vise. So that kind of a vise might be an acceptable option, certainly for bending, twisting, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be just fine. Just may not be the thing for heavy hammering if you use your vise for upsetting all the time. But if I decide I really want the Kenka vise for the platen table and I need something else here, I might take a serious look at that Fireball hardtail vise. That's what's referred to as foreshadowing, but more on that in a future video. It certainly is intriguing, and the amount of abuse he put that vise to in his side-by-side test kind of makes me think that I would never give it enough abuse to hurt it in my shop environment. But anyways, that's all I've got today. I hope you have time in your day to get out to your shop, make something, stay safe, wear your safety glasses. We'll see you for the next video.